Okay, we're live on air. So
I don't wanna be alone. I'm just a shitlord here on the web.
so let me introduce the guest, Privilegey. Say hello.
It is my privilege, as always.
Then Thoughtful Salt
Greetings, everybody.
and First Draco.
Hello there.
I got a small question, actually, Andre, before we start. Whatever happened to that British-ish guy that used to be on your Hangouts all the time?
Oh, you mean Deus Ex?
I think so.
Yeah, I've tried to get him on my Discord, but I don't know. He's like busy doing his stuff.
Well, just get him on the Discord. I want to say hi to that fucker. I miss him.
Yeah, I've tried. I've tried. No, I don't use Skype, so.
Who uses Skype nowadays?
Well, I have to use Skype for work purposes, but for personal stuff, Discord is way better.
Yeah, that is true. So let's go get into the first topic, which is kind of a twofold. I don't know which one you want to start without first. Do you want to start with the Blizzard banning people for having wrongthink, or the BioWare being visited by Anita Sarkeesian and also delaying Anthem?
Oh, either would do. I don't have a
I think BioWare
Okay.
we should start with first.
Yeah.
That's the short topic.
Okay. I can screen share the thing. Let me present for everyone so you can see. So let's just have a quick look at I like this site because there's barely anything you can look at in the gaming media that is reliable. So two pieces of news have come out in a short amount of time that seems to spell inauspicious news for BioWare. Here's the picture, by the way, of her visiting BioWare. First of all, there's an article over at Kotaku that hits at some of BioWare developers feeling less than confident about the potential success of Destiny 2 clone Anthem, and there's also confirmation that BioWare's admin had a talking to from controversial and stirring culture critic Anita Sarkeesian. In the Kotaku piece, it states that Anthem could be delayed all the way from the fall 2017 to March 2019 for PC and home consoles. The exact same delay that Mass Effect Andromeda received, moving from fall of 2016 into March of 2018. But that's not even the worst part about BioWare's position. The developers who spoke to Kotaku feel that Anthem could be their last shot at redemption. That's kind of true. But it's their own fault they fucked up a Mass Effect.
Here's my thoughts on the matter.
Electronic Arts cryoed the Mass Effect brand, locking it in the vault of shame until they likely cook up a plan to reboot the series a decade from now. EA also shuttered BioWare model. Okay, shut down would be a better word. Anyway, BioWare Montreal and shuffled them off to EA Motive Studios. BioWare described the piece as being both optimistic and anxious because they know if they screw up with Anthem, they may as well unscrew the bulbs and shut off the lights before the Metacritic scores roll in. Everyone sees the writing on the wall, even if there is no writing in ink. BioWare, in fact, is so desperate to make Anthem work, they've pulled anyone and almost everyone from each of their other projects to focus on their third-person persistent online shooter. It's an all-or-nothing drive toward the finish line at this point. Now, if in some way you're convinced that this may save the game, think again. BioWare admin also received a prep talk from Anita Sarkeesian on January 25th, 2018. Yes, the same Anita Sarkeesian who fabricated information about video games in the Tropes versus Women, blah, 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 blah. Here is the actual tweet. I had such a great time touring BioWare admin's office and having tea with this great group of women and allies. Thanks for your hospitality.
So there are only two genders, women and allies.
I like this tweet here. RRP BioWare. So I think we got the sentiment. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so BioWare Montreal was responsible for Andromeda, right? So that's half of their company basically down the shitter because they took a gamble and they lost because Andromeda. I played like an hour and a half of it. I can already tell it's a hell of a mess. Anthem, yes, this is a make or break moment for them. But for them to rely on pep talks from Miss Sarkeesian, a woman who hasn't been known to market games well as so much as just thrive on destroying them, it's kind of counterproductive. And of course, none of her critiques have really hit home except for a small crowd of influential creators, yes, but just a small crowd nonetheless. God, I can't see this ending well for Anthem.
You're alienating gamers with this stuff.
Well, that's her motto. That's her motto.
Who in BioWare thought this was a good idea?
I personally think this speaks to a bigger issue with Silicon Valley and the type of culture that those companies and areas subscribe to. Because you notice this is only really a problem in Western gaming markets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese don't give two fucks about this sort of stuff. But I have to say, maybe Silicon Valley in like trying to do this inward soul searching or actually like overemphasizing their flaws instead of like moving forward with strengths and stuff. So they're emphasizing, oh, we're so horrible. We don't have 50% women in our groups. So what can we do to end this? And beyond, actually hiring 50% women or doing the groundwork and the millions of dollars that would take to get more women interested in tech in the first place, they're just going to subsist with band-aid measures and half measures and stuff like this, including like just propaganda moves by like Anita Sarkeesian visiting an Edmonton studio. It's bizarre. It's very bizarre. I can't see this ending well unless Anthem is a major hit. And I'm talking major. It can't just sell like 2 million copies. It has to sell Battlefield 1 numbers in order for them to break even on this, I think. Especially with all the delays.
And that's heavily going to be affected by how many microtransactions they decide to shove down our holes. Along with that, and whether or not the gaming experience itself is going to be up to par with what the BioWare fans are looking for. The problem is that now that EA has their claws in BioWare, it's not looking very bright.
So basically what you're saying is that the most probable result would be that EA would gut them and throw in the husk, as they have done with countless studios before.
No.
It's more
privilege.
EA is looking
No,
at
he's
their
saying.
bottom line.
No, Frost, you're saying your face is tired.
I'm guessing all this frosty reception might come back to bite them in the ass. That was an obscure reference.
Yeah,
but
why would anyone at this point advertise that they have had a visit from Anita Sarkeesian? I mean, even the people who hate her literally give zero fucks what she's doing these days anyways. Like, nobody cares.
I don't understand.
I'm just going to check the viewership numbers on our latest video. I'll be right back.
I don't understand who could have possibly thought that having this particular person at that company and then posting about it on social media would be a good idea. Yeah. I mean, even the people who like Anita Sarkeesian are well aware that she's a controversial figure when it comes to the gaming sphere. And it would be an extremely bad and polarizing move to have anything to do with her from a PR perspective.
Her latest videos, the highest one, basically has 42K views. 42K. That's a far cry from the heights of the scandal, of the monstrous times.
Well, even Thunderfoot has given up on her at this point, so yeah, nobody cares.
Yes, so even those who like her, or even like, I despise her like really vehemently, but I don't really give a fuck what she has to say these days. Like she's so irrelevant. These goddamn companies are just digging their own graves by inviting her on. I mean, she's toxic to everything.
Even if she doesn't believe the things she says, she's still a con artist, in my opinion.
Well, it's up to us to make sure that she's remembered as such in the history books.
And she's there to push a narrative in order to make money for herself. She doesn't care about the well-being of these companies.
Yeah, I mean, look what happened with Mass Effect. Like, even if it was a decent game, many people boycotted it, including myself, because the lead animator for that game hated white people and alienated me as a consumer.
Oh, you mean Manvia here? That guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But by the way, you know, the real reason why he was booted from BioWare is because during the Me Too campaign, he was outed as a serial goat molester, which is obviously problematic because it means that he appropriates Muslim culture. Which is
okay, well, let's move on to the next one. Let me screen share again. And present to everyone.
Oh no!
There we go.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Another major video game company is watching my every move. Oh my god! What if they find out what I just find out what I'm typing at the very moment my fingers press the keys? Will they know about my fapping habits? Oh god, no!
What if they know I consume the hentai? I'm all up in that shit.
Well, there is only one solution to that then. Consume the most rabid, the most disgusting, the most depraved pornography you can.
What's more depraved than cuckolding?
well,
cuckolding hentai.
Interracial cuckolding is the only approved kind of porn to watch. That's what you want.
Well, let's dive into the article before we derail this even more. After focusing heavily on promoting multiculturalism, turning their main character gay, blaming anti-SJW behavior for holding up content development, banning players that only played a straight white male character. What? Really? They did that?
That really happened?
They didn't say that it's because of a straight white male character, but they banned someone for using only one character and not playing any other.
Oh, they banned somebody for playing only Torbjorn.
One character.
That was a completely different issue because there's some issues with the balance of that character, but it was still stupid that they banned him.
Well, the player that isn't responsible for the balancing issues. The company.
Yeah, he was basically playing like a defensive support character in pretty much all game modes, and only played that character.
Well, and dumping hundreds of millions into esports, Blizzard has now finally taken the next step into shrinking their community by scouring social media and YouTube to track down users who make toxic comments on videos, taking action against their Overwatch account. I know, it reads like some sort of parody based on a mock manual imitating George Orwell's 1984, but I assure you it's not a parody, and it's unfortunately not satire. Overwatch game director Jeff Kaplan updated the community with a new developer video log, which you can check out below. And the video at the 240 mark, I can.
If you want to get
do the audio, 240 mark. Let's do the 230 mark.
I'm pretty sure the quote
catch you for or action you for, but I'll give you an example of one thing that we've been doing that has proven very positive. We now proactively seek out social media sites like YouTube, for example, and look for incidents of very toxic behavior and track down the accounts that are participating in those and action them. Anybody's even reported them or they've shown up in any other place. So that's just one example of us being proactive that I think is going to make a big difference over time. Now,
Jesus.
This is as bad as that company that made what is it, Firewatch. That they tried to, well, they didn't do anything, but they wanted to show how virtuous they are by basically issuing threats of false DMCAs against PewDiePie for saying, you know what he said. So yeah, that's.
Oh wait, there's
Well,
also
think
another
about-
part. There's also another part. 9:30. Let's see. Do 9:20.
make her a little bit more relevant. May I put into this category of heroes that we need to be really careful with? She can feel very oppressive to play against if she's too powerful. We want to bring her in balance. We do believe that she is a more situational character, meaning that may even when balanced properly, might not be the right pick all the time, every single match. Now, Overwatch was a game that was designed for you to pick different heroes. We allow for hero changes to happen all the time. We designed the game so that there was nothing blocking you from having access to all 21 heroes when the game released, and now we're up to 26 heroes. And we strongly encourage players to have at least a small hero pool of heroes that you can switch around and play. Now, I know the culture of maining and the culture of one-tricking has become very popular in our community. And you just need to know that if you're only going to play one or two heroes, you're going to have a hard time sometimes because your hero might not be relevant in all gameplay situations all the time. And this isn't our goal. Our goal is to have heroes all have a place in the game, but not necessarily be played wholly and solely all the time by themselves. I believe that super highly skilled players can pull off something like that occasionally, but just be careful. You might be damaging the experience for yourself.
Oh, who gives a shit?
This
Christ.
guy either doesn't play video games or hasn't touched a game in so long that he's a fucking dinosaur.
And is he even aware of meta? Like, someone playing Torbjorn all the time, figuring out all the tricks of what situations he's good at and how they can improve in situations he's not, is how metas change over time. I mean, if you restrict the really super niche people from like accessing Torbjorn all the time just because you say so and because it's damaging the game, like, you're restricting very able strategies from becoming active and stuff.
Well,
Like,
notice
I just
in
don't
that is what he
understand
said,
that.
there's no rule against only playing one character. He's just saying
now
we would
there
like
is.
you to play different characters, but there was no rule against only playing one character.
Well, now there is. It's just enforced arbitrarily and at a time point that you're not made aware of beforehand. So it's clear you should have like psychically predicted this rule coming to you if you only main Torbjorn. You should have predicted that, you spack of Spurg lords.
Jeez, this just seems so fucking retarded.
One tricking wouldn't be a thing if a character couldn't be used in every situation. It just wouldn't be a thing.
That's like Activision saying to their Call of Duty players, "Hey guys, you can't just use one weapon that you like and became good at. You have to switch up, or otherwise you might be banned. And it's not our fault with the balancing. No. It's your problem. You should fix this."
Yeah, if Blizzard wants to enforce, changing of heroes, they should invent a game mode for it. Like have a game mode where if you use a character in one round, you can't use them in the other. So that creates an interesting dynamic, and people have to change strategies because they can't use their favorite heroes. But they don't have a game mode like that. They don't have a game mode like that.
Fixed it.
I know. I could think of that. I'm not a game designer. But if they don't have this game mode right now, if they had a game mode like that, then there wouldn't be any issue. But they don't have that game mode, so they're limiting the options of people who like to play with their favorite characters. it's just insane to me. I mean, Call of Duty, for all of its faults, and Battlefield as well, have game modes like Gun Game where they at least force you to switch out weapons and stuff. So they provide an option for people who don't want to see the same guns at every single instance or time period. So it's baffling to me that why Blizzard can't just take a small step and say, okay, we'll new game mode. There you go.
I mean, this is so easy, and it's just, we're just putting the blame on the consumer because we're literally too stupid, and we want to censor people on our game because we don't like what they say, and we're just pushing it off onto them. So, and when we see something we don't like, we just ban them, even though they paid for the fucking game.
That's the other salient point. The guy paid like what, upwards of $60 for Overwatch to play as Torbjorn. He does nothing else wrong. He is not toxic. He's not a person who swears at people. But just because he plays the game, the stuff that the game provides to you, that the developer designed to be in the game, he's banned. Wow,
That's fucking stupid.
That's actually, the guy probably filed a lawsuit under some consumer protections laws or something like that, and he probably win.
That's the thing. Companies set up their consumer protections to where they can pretty much ban you for any reason they choose.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It's like the whole entire thing with Jeremy and
yeah, but you
Magic
can't sign
Together.
away your rights. You can't under U.S. and Canadian law. You can't just sign away your rights with an end user license agreement. If it contravenes any laws or any situation that skirts the law, you can actually sue. Like, there's nothing actually prohibiting you from suing if your rights have been abrogated.
That's true, and I think more people need to start holding these companies accountable so we can set precedents. It's just that not many people have the money to do so.
That is also very unfortunate, because this is so bullshit right there. That either it's wrong thing or how you actually play the game. You're not cheating. You're not breaking any you're not going around threatening people over the voice chat. You're just playing the game and they don't like it, and then boom, you just lost $60.
Don't even get me fucking started on cheating, man. Fucking Guild Wars 2 has been having a huge problem with people win trading in competitive PvP, people hacking the game, people cheating, people using exploits for profit, people doing insider trading, and they haven't fucking banned anybody.
Yeah, that's also the other scale of the issue. Well, there needs to be something.
It's not
not
like
so
they
sure.
don't know who's doing it either, because there are people who literally stream the fact that they're win trading or hacking.
It's such a tragedy because Overwatch is actually one of the great games of this past 5 or so years. And to see the management around the game be so horrible, I mean, Blizzard has to pray to God every day that they don't suffer more backlash because of stuff like this. I mean, you saw how badly things went down with what was, damn it, Battleborn
Diablo?
and stuff.
Oh.
And what was Cliffy B's Lawbreakers? You saw how badly they managed that stuff. Blizzard has to thank their lucky stars that one of the most popular video games in the world right now.
The hype for Overwatch before it even came out was just fucking ridiculous.
Did you want to say something, Edgy Lord or Proligy?
I don't play Overwatch, so I don't have much to say. Just a lot of game companies have been doing shady shit like this. For example, I remember a while back, what's the name? League of Legends. They banned several people and forced them to change their nicknames because they somehow decided that those nicknames were problematic. And apparently they used some algorithm, because some nicknames that were pretty vanilla and pretty... it's not like nicknames like Guess the Jews or something. No, just one person had nickname Super Gay Dad, which I fail to see any reason to force this person to change the nickname, especially since gay used to mean happy, and in the dictionary it still does. So what's even the I don't know. It was a wild.
Had it been a dad sucking dick, I would have understood that.
Yeah, but sometimes. Oh, let me actually try to find this article. Because they forced those people to fill in like a test, which was a slightly modified sociopathy test, which is again.
Yeah, they basically tried to behaviorally, what do you call it? Profile these people.
And if the government can't get the behavioral profile of a serial killer right, how can you expect a fucking game company to get it right in the first place at all? Lord.
They felt it was their duty in order to do so. Like, it was really fucking brazen, and I'm glad the person who had part in it is no longer working in that area of the company, because it was fucking ridiculous. Like, they were treating these people like they're some sort of criminal or something.
Ugh. When companies take over the role of government, you find yourself wanting various things that government had and you don't have now. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at corporate oligarchies in the future if we're not careful.
Like, I believe in the free market just as much as anybody, but corporations are getting a little bit too big for their britches, if I do say so myself.
Well, that's kind of leaning into the next topic, which is the whole Jordan Peterson interview on Channel 4. So if you haven't watched that, I would highly recommend for anyone who hasn't watched it to go there and watch the entire thing. The memes out of that one are amazing. Like, are you saying I'm a lobster is basically the one that's most prevalent.
One of my favorites. I think there are ethical issues in gaming. So you're saying we should be sexist towards women?
Yeah, that's basically the interview in a nutshell. Let me screen share since you gave me the PDF for that. 1 sec, so I can present to everyone. So, let's read.
As a preface, I should note this is an article about his upcoming book, 12 Rules for Life: An Antidote to Chaos. It touches slightly on the interview, but it doesn't actually talk about the interview itself mostly.
Yeah, well, we can use it. Well, do you know where they touched on the interview?
I forgot. It's not a long article, but it does talk about how he basically upstages everyone intellectually that he meets and debates with because he's such a rational dude.
Yeah, I saw something after the interview, which was interesting, because he used the first few minutes to actually like a boxer, he would actually just study how she would respond to him, and then after 5 minutes, he just knew what kind of sort of environment he was in, because she was totally different from the cameras were off till the cameras were on. So I don't know, he didn't know which one was the real person, and when he came to the gotcha moment. For those who have watched it, know what I'm talking about. He actually had some criticisms from some people because, or colleagues of his, because they said instead of using that to basically stump her, he could have used it as a springboard to actually have some proper discussion in that interview. But he, in the moment, he was getting kind of frustrated with her constantly interrupting him. So he was.
Well, that's the problem. If they wanted a debate, she wasn't up for having one in the first place. So
Yeah, that's it. But then, go ahead.
That piece of criticism, I actually kind of agree with that, but at the same time, I think that gotcha moment was somewhat necessary to kind of just point out, not specifically to her, but also to the audience, that when you follow this line of thinking and you're going to run into this answer, someone's thinking correctly about it. And that gotcha moment was what he needed to point it out.
It was 21 minutes in or something, so it was over 2/3 into the interview, and I don't think she wanted to have a discussion. So I think he just said fuck it. because he was very calm in that interview and tried to give some reasonable answers, and got constantly interrupted when he was actually getting to a point. So let's read some of this article. It is uncomfortable to be told to get in touch with your inner psychopath. That life is a catastrophe, and that that the aim of living is not to be happy. This
I
is
actually
hardly
fucked up. I actually fucked up. This doesn't touch on the interview at all. I was thinking of a different article.
Oh, okay. Well, then we can just
Yeah, this is
ignore
on
that.
his 12 Points of Happiness or whatever, his book, I think.
Yeah, sorry, but basically the article does touch on his intellectual abilities and stuff, which is kind of the point of our talking about this interview, because this is the way we should have approached Gamergate from the beginning. Like, I know some people were doing so, such as Sargon, and in some cases Milo himself. Actually, there's a quote that was just passed around, if I can dig that up real quick. This is what Gamergate does. The reason Gamergate does this is because it's almost like the final chapter in 2 decades of internet wars. And those internet wars have been about thought, speech, culture, politics, you name it. Every community on the internet has a dog in the fight in Gamergate, because they all either have a vested interest in free speech and anonymity, or they have an interest in protecting the integrity and creative expression of certain mediums, or they're individual people who have behaved terribly on the internet, who saw Gamergate as a redemptive opportunity. So if they lined up with women and went in with these mostly fake threats about death and rape and all the rest of it, typical feminist tactics that don't stand up when you look at them, true. Lining up on one side of that debate was a way of indicating you were for authoritarians or libertarians, and it was a sort of confluence of all of these nascent arguments and wars online. And Gamergate takes you in these crazy directions because, in a way, it's the sort of the most all-encompassing war and the most all-encompassing event that's ever happened on the internet, because it brought in everybody. This is the best example we have yet. The most exciting example culturally. The fact that on the internet, it's not about left and right anymore. It's about authoritarians and libertarians. Cultural libertarians are the rising power. Cultural libertarianism is on the rise because people are sick of political correctness. They're sick of being told that they're racist, sexist, misogynist, homophobic, and when they know they're not. That's my favorite quote of his. We should have been doing this from the beginning, but a lot of it was just emotionally based, and hopefully we can take the Jordan Peterson's attempt and approach and take Gamergate from here.
Well, also, go ahead.
Well, Hitchens said something a while back about American politics and the way that we discuss certain things. It's like two sides both say their piece, and there's no fencing, no back and forth or changing the other person's mind. It's just two people say what they have to say, and that's the end of it. There's no real debate for the most part. And I think that Gamergate could have been better if there was more actual debate, but it's kind of hard to have that debate when one side just isn't listening.
I'm looking at the chats. CZ or whatever. CZ. Jordan entered in there for an interview, but Kathy was looking for a bob roll, and she got her clock cleaned thoroughly.
Sure.
That's such a fun metaphor. Her clock cleaned.
Yeah, but if you look at the interview itself, she constantly strawmans and uses red herrings. So you're saying, and he says, no, that's not what I'm saying. And he tries to explain what she just said he was saying, and then she just continues with something else, like when he says with the lobsters, which was famously used, like we have the same like serotonin is also what is in lobsters. So like a third of a billion years ago there weren't trees here, but we have common ancestors with the lobster, and you can see that kind of that there is a hierarchy, and in human society there is a hierarchy. And then, so you're saying we're basically like the lobsters in hierarchy? Like, what the fuck?
So you're saying we're lobsters?
She's trying to simplify his position to attack it, but Jordan Peterson is so concise that he needs to reiterate himself, and he can't let her just simplify it.
Yeah.
You'll be saying we was lobsters and shit.
Yeah, yeah. But like, yeah, when you can't even like get a counter argument that is coherent with something like lobsters, and you basically strawman that. I mean, that just shows either she's completely inept at what she's doing, or she's doing this like maliciously.
Or both.
Yeah, or both.
I
It's
mean,
kind of
there
hard
was
to
a lot
say.
of talk about whether or not she actually believed a lot of the arguments that she put forward. And, you know, there's times where you could say, like, okay, it's reasonable to assume that she doesn't necessarily have to believe that statement. But I don't know. It just seems like there was something in her that drove her. It felt like she really connected with those straw men that she was giving him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think this interview did John Peterson a lot of favors, to be honest. I think it, you know, we have this YouTube community where people, skeptics or whatever you want to call it, liberalists or whatever these days you want to call yourself.
Oh,
And
liberalist. It's a fucking retarded. First of all, when you create something new and come up with the term for it, don't call it something that is really, really similar to something that already exists, because we have enough confusion as is. We don't need more confusion in the dynamics.
yeah. But it's basically that sphere, the anti-SJW community or whatever, that actually followed him closely. So it was mostly those, and of course those in the academic arena that followed John Peterson. But now he has like the world stage because of that interview. He propelled way more in popular media and the public conscience in that matter, because of the inept Kathy Newman. And of course she is playing the victim afterwards with, oh, they're sending threats my way. Oh no. Help me.
That means I'm right. That means I'm right because they're sending death threats at me. You can't criticize anything I say from henceforth.
Well, on top of that, you know, Jordan Peterson being the nice guy that he is, he told people not to send those things to her. And they attempted to use that against him to prove that she's right. And that's just kind of unfortunate because he's doing the right thing and he's paying for it.
No, see that's also kind of misleading. He didn't actually say that word for word. He said, if people are doing that, he said knock it off. But he didn't see anything that would that would be defined as harassment. So it's very clever word where they're making him out to be like, oh, he knows she's getting harassment and is saying people to stop.
You want to know something?
Peterson's like, I don't know shit.
You want to know something?
I don't know nothing.
There's this book by Stephen Picker called The Better Angels of Our Nature. You might have heard of it. Where he basically shows that the lowest point for a homicide rate in any given time in human history, in all civilizations, is one per every 100,000 or something. And basically what I'm taking from that is no matter what you do, there's always going to be like a 1 per 100,000 or maybe 10,000, still a very small number, level of people who are just going to be assholes on the internet, that you're not going to be able to control what they do. And simply because of the larger population size we have now and all the access to the internet across the world, like even the low end of like, even the high end of 1 per 10,000, like you're talking about like millions of people potentially. trolling on the internet that you're not going to be able to stop, no matter how many times you ask them to stop, no matter how many times the people they supposedly follow ask them to stop. It's like, you're never going to stop them. So any attempt at like saying, okay, don't send death threats, it's like, it's futile. There's a low level background constancy to these things. And I think that'll be borne out by the data when Brad Glasgow releases his book and whenever our project in GG Historia gets finished, whatever that may be.
I mean, it's not illegal to troll yet. So, I mean...
Well, I mean, I'm talking about death threats and stuff too, right?
Yeah, of course. But there's a difference, like saying, "Oh, you're a poopy head, Kathy Newman. You should go into the corner and be ashamed." Like, there's a difference between that and go kill yourself, or I'm gonna rape you, and threats like that. And
except in Canada, it's illegal in Canada.
But they're complaining.
Yeah, I was actually talking with Morgan Jaffe, the guy that wrote that article on Polygon the other day. And that was basically like, this is the cost of doing business in the games industry, where he called attention to the fact that game developers constantly receive abuse and stuff. And I'm like, I didn't bring up the constancy argument towards him, but I argued something like it. And me and him got into an argument, and it was a cordial argument. We were disagreeing, but we were as respectful as possible towards each other. But one of his things was like, one of his mind differences in opinion was, you have to be able to insult people on the internet. That was my argument. And he's like, well, I disagree with that. And I'm like, okay. So you have basically reasonable people on the other side who basically say even insults, mere insults, trudge into the same territory as death threats. And they so wholeheartedly believe in that they're changing laws in countries like the UK and Canada and Germany to reflect their beliefs. So it's a very real threat, really.
Yeah, CZ from the chat is saying, what's most telling about Kathy was a reaction when to Jordan favoring equality of opportunity and not equality of outcome. Her angry Marxism started to show then.
Well, I don't necessarily believe that she's a Marxist. I just think that she views the concept of fairness as something that's actually important, and her idea of what is fair is different from what's actually good for most people, including women.
Well, I don't think she knows what she's talking about. But she might not be a communist and a socialist, whatever, but she has the talking points.
There is a Marxist point there if she has any belief in the feminism as an ideology, but I don't think like she's one of those people that are really self-aware and understand that feminism is somewhat derived from Marxism.
I guess equality for all. Yes, I can understand the bare bones of that. I'm actually reading a book right now called The F Word, the war against feminism. And there are people who are perturbed that people are even against feminism. Like the author of this one basically calls any woman who doesn't identify as a feminist a misguided drip. So you can tell the level of intellectuality we're dealing with on a constant basis against these people. You're never going to convince people they're wrong, no matter what you say, no matter how well-reasoned you are. You're just going to, even with Kathy Newman versus Jordan Peterson, he didn't convince her she was wrong, even though he constantly defeated her points. Like, that's the problem we're facing. It's entrenched. This ideologies and stuff that Gamergate and other movements are fighting is entrenched. You can't change the minds of people who are decided. What you have to aim for is people who are undecided, which is why finally we're getting a lot of people saying and seeing that Gamergate was perhaps in the right all along.
Well, going from the debates that were popular in the early 2000s regarding religion, that's what most people argued for, to change the minds of the people who were listening, not the minds of the person who was sitting across from them.
Yeah.
I believe Jordan Peterson conducted a masterwork with this interview. He convinced people who are onlooking, and I think that's his achievement. Like, when you look at it,
more importantly, he showed that he knows what he's talking about. He's not some hack.
Yeah. His achievement was to basically convince any person who was watching that interview to go, wow, there's actually rationality behind this movement, and there's also irrationality behind this ideology.
I think I think in the I would call it a debate because it wasn't an interview. When you demeanor has quite a lot to say, and how you put your words into not just what you say, but your demeanor as well. When you like Piers Morgan, he's a fucking idiot. But when he had the interview or debate, whatever you want to call it, with Alex Jones, like he seemed reasonable compared to Alex Jones, because he was screeching, "Oh, 7076 will commence again. They will take your gun." Blah 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 blah. like, he was being Alex Jones, but like that could have been a platform for Alex Jones to have been more reasonable on CNN, but he was just LARPing on CNN. So
It could have been a friendly interview. It could have been a nice chit chat. But I think Kathy Newman came off extremely too combative.
yeah. He even said that when with the gotcha moment. You seem like a combative person with the free speech thing, and it's been uncomfortable for me. So why should my free speech like the press the press has the First Amendment? So why should everyone else not have it? Like it's actually going against your own profession and your own job. It's so fucking stupid.
Well, that's what a lot of it is, isn't it? A lot of these people that are pushing this ideology are in the press, they're in the industry, they're in the media, they have connections. They're the people that are supposed to be the people who give us the information, and they're not trustworthy because they're more interested in pushing their viewpoints than they are with giving us the information. And it's like they think they should have the ability to offend and to call people out and to insult people, but the average citizen should not. It's like you're no better than we are. And quite frankly, a lot of citizens do your job better than you do.
Yeah, at this point, like regular YouTubers do the actual job of the press, and yeah.
Well, let's be careful not to fall into the trap of believing that we're right just because we think we're seeing.
Oh no.
We're seeing the right stuff. We also have to be willing to admit that we're wrong on some occasions. I'm not necessarily advocating changing your entire worldview. I'm just saying on certain occasions you have to admit that you were wrong.
Oh yeah, I've been wrong plenty of times. It's the ability to be humble.
No, you're in the wrong all the time, Andrew Doll. Shut the fuck up.
You're a fucking white male.
Well, that's actually a good segue to the next topic.
Wait, there's another topic?
Yeah. There is actually a more fun one. Let me screen share this. So, with the whole Me Too campaign.
I hate sand. It's also rainy.
Yeah.
Shit about
Almost 2 decades too late.
So let's go through this article. Why Anakin Skywalker should have been removed from the Jedi Order for sexual harassment. The Jedi Council's inability to remove a toxic, misogynistic predator from the ranks ultimately brings out about their downfall. In anticipation of Star Wars: The Last Jedi movie release, like many others, I've been rewatching this series to my horror. While watching a Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, I realized that Anakin Skywalker, even before overtly becoming evil, was a sexual predator in the workplace. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Okay, I'm looking at this strike one, and this person is already wrong because Skywalker and Padme had a before he was ever signed into wrong. Just to fucking start off.
Well, to be fair, Natalie Portman is fucking hot. So,
Well, to be honest, she was the sexual predator because she was like 5 years older. But let's continue. Skywalker's role in the destruction of the Jedi Order and the establishment of the Galactic Empire is the impetus for ensuing movies in the franchise. There would be no bad guys in majority of the films, or if the Jedi Order had removed a workplace predator from their ranks.
First of all, even without Anakin Skywalker, Palpatine would have gone with his plan and destroyed the Jedi. So Anakin's role was pretty minor, and without him, things would be roughly the same anyways. I mean,
yeah, they would have. Here, while this may have happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, it deserves to be called out now by allowing a predator in the workplace. And oh my god, this is so fucking. Oh my god. And not doing enough to fight sexual harassment. The Jedi. Oh my god. Oh, this is mind-numbingly stupid.
Well, to be fair, this paragraph is actually true. This paragraph is actually true.
The Jedi Council ultimately engineers its own. Well, that's kind of true. So I give them that.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, give the circle a point.
Not like 75% of this paragraph, but like members of the Jedi Council should have removed Skywalker from the Jedi Order after his missteps while protecting Senator Padme Amidala. If they had, I mean, she was the one who went to Geonosis, you fucking retard. If they had, Chancellor Palpatine would have been unable to leverage Skywalker into destroying this Jedi. Oh my god, dismantling democracy and creating the first galactic empire. Strike one. Skywalker, who is officially assigned to protect Amidala from an assassination plot, begins crossing professional and personal boundaries. Like, there are two people in that, and he's not. Oh my god.
Personally, they already had a personal relationship. Like, he came onto her out of the blue, somebody that he's just met. Like, he already had a thing for her before,
and she knew
this event even occurred.
Is it just me, or does this "he came onto her" sound very double entendre here?
I mean, to be fair, she came onto him when he was a kid, so technically,
yeah.
Let's see.
Culture, the age of consent is like 5 years old. How do you know? I mean, respect other cultures. All cultures are beautiful. You bigot.
Jesus. Personal boundaries as soon as he's alone with her. While Amidala is packing her bags for a long trip, her state-appointed protector Skywalker starts making inappropriate advances. She flat out tells him, "Don't look at me like that, because it makes me feel uncomfortable." He simultaneously offers of... He says... He apologizes, for fuck's sake, and undermines her own position of authority. She doesn't have authority over him. Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, technically, her rank is higher than his. The whole reason it was her uncomfortable is because of the situation they were in, not because he was.
And also, it's these scenes are just uncomfortable because George Lucas cannot direct a straight acting scene for. He can't direct his way out of a paper bag. If this was done by a better director, and I'm not putting this on the actors are only doing what the director tells them to do. Well, if these scenes had better directors, oh man, imagine how much better it could have been, especially with Natalie Portman in there. You know she can act. She won a fucking Oscar.
Yeah. Let's see. Skywalker has already overstepped his boundary in a professional setting. She calls him out on it, and it should be the end of the story. But he insists on harassing Amidala for the duration of the film, making her feel at turns uncomfortable. Unless, oh my god!
When did she ever say she was unsafe?
I think that being targeted by assassins made her feel more unsafe than this guy with stilted emotions and inability to flirt properly.
She wouldn't have fucked him if she didn't feel safe.
Yeah, strike two. Even during meals, I know this scene. Skywalker is relentless in his pursuit of Amidala. She attempts to make light. make light conversation about Skywalker's Jedi vows, but he uses this polite discussion as an opportunity to pounce. No, he said he explains the fucking code to her, like it's unconditional love, like and he puts his views on it as well. Like he says they're encouraged to love, like
Love everyone equally.
yeah. How the fuck is this a pounce, an opportunity to pounce?
Well, he was pouncing, but that's such a bad thing? I mean, if you want to get somewhere personally with somebody, you have to make a move.
It takes two to tango, and given that she finally decided to, well, Amidala. To be fair, Amidala only seemed to respond to his advances only after learning that he genocided a whole village of Sand people. I mean, which is, I guess, she has a thing for genocidal psychopaths. In which case, she deserved what she got in episode 3. I mean, I know that women are often falling for bad boys and killing a whole village, including women and children.
Yeah, declaring he can't be with people I love. He immediately follows this up by confessing to her that he remembers her in his dreams. Skywalker is telling an elected official, oh my god, who is obligated to be in his present, that he has been dreaming. Yeah, so fucking what?
Not obligated.
I admit that's a little bit weird, but he's never been. He doesn't know how to express himself in the
especially
movie.
in the Jedi Order, which are just like priests, except even more isolated.
Is the article saying that you can profess your love to an elected official? So
basically,
fuck.
I mean, he does say it in kind of an endearing way. It says she's just like he remembers her and in his dreams. Like, Jesus Christ, it's an unhealthy obsession, not anything close to love.
There's no fucking difference, to be honest. Like,
I'm wearing
biologically speaking, there's no fucking difference.
Yeah. Love is as unhealthy as it comes.
And where can Amidala go? Her life is in danger, and she has no choice but to stay with Skywalker.
Well, she can contact the Jedi Order and tell her to replace.
She wasn't just with him though. She was also with Obi-Wan.
No, at that point, no.
Yeah.
They were.
No, not at that point.
By the way,
he was going to Camino.
By the way, that scene was on her own planet, so she wasn't alone there. In fact, if she thought that Anakin was really acting inappropriately, she had she's still a senator for the planet. So if she asked for palace guards or some private security to assist her instead of Anakin, she would get it. So she decided that Anakin should stay with her and she wouldn't rely on anyone else. So she was okay with that, even if it wasn't exactly the best flirting ever. So
the simple answer to that is that she liked him.
Yeah.
As a person. That's why she kept him around.
Yeah. With a turn to protect her and her predator, Jesus Christ. On top of all of this, Skywalker has supernatural powers. He's one of the strongest beings in the entire galaxy. Talk about power dynamic. And she's one of the most powerful senators.
Yeah, she's a senator. He's just an ordinary Jedi, not even Jedi Master. And she's power on her, and this was on her planet, where she used to be a queen, and now she's a senator for the planet. So she has all the political power she could want. And if she wanted, she could just tell the guards to arrest him and throw him in the jail, and they would do it because he is nobody. She's a powerful politician. What about power dynamic? Yeah. Power dynamic, my ass.
And please notice the fact that he was the chosen one is kind of something that was only spread around within the Jedi Order, because they seem to keep forgetting that Jediism is a religion and most of the people outside of the Jedi Order didn't follow it.
Yeah. Here, strike 3. Skywalker, who is still a Padawan learner and not yet a Jedi Knight, isn't content with threatening Amidala's sexual agents.
What?
Jesus fucking Christ. But insists on undermining her professional authority as well. On her home planet of Naboo, she discusses with the Queen where she would like to stay while in hiding. Skywalker takes this moment in front of assortment of nobility and elected officials to throw a tantrum and assert his dominance, telling her that he's in charge of security. Yeah, but because he's concerned of her life, even though he likes her, he's fucking concerned of her. And she says, I know this planet. So I know what to hide at. And he says, okay.
It says sexual agency. It's not about sexual fucking agency. What the fuck?
Later, when they're alone, Skywalker decides to confront her with his feelings. He tells her that since they met when he was a child, a day hasn't gone by when I haven't thought of you. That's just plain creepy.
So the writer of this article admits that they know that they had a relationship before he was made into her bodyguard.
Yeah, it wasn't creepy that she was kind of coming on to him when he was a 10-year-old child, and she was
well,
like,
she wasn't.
You know something.
No, it's creepy as directed because, as I said before, it isn't the actor's fault, it's the director's fault for letting those performances come into the finished product.
The creepiest part was when Jar Jar Binks in episode 1 told Anakin, oh, the Queen likes you, she's pretty hot. Again, she was 16, he was 10, which is...
I don't trust a word Jar Jar says, so...
Yeah.
Strike 4. Then he places the blame on her because, of course, women can't exist professionally without it's threatening some self-centered man. He tells her, you are in my very soul, tormenting me. What can I do? How about realize this is a you problem and let Amidala live her life?
Does this idiot not know what that sentence meant?
Well, SJWs really don't care what the original meaning was. They can deconstruct and pretty much strawman everything to fit their agenda. Or it's just article. I can't tell.
You know, this article would hold a lot more weight if she didn't eventually end up marrying him and having his fucking children.
By the way, in the same movie.
Not in the same movie.
No, it's three.
At the end of episode 2.
Yeah. Like I said, this whole article is pretty much undone by most of the way through episode 3. So that's hilarious. And then he turns on her and chokes her. You know, but who hasn't? Who hasn't choked their significant other?
Well, given that she probably has a thing for that. I mean, if she got all hot and wet after learning that he pretty much is a loose cannon that can go apeshit after having some tragic.
Have you stopped beating your wife, Privilegey?
Here, let's just finish the 2 last paragraph. It's shocking that the Jedi Council, or at least some of its members, like Master Yoda and Windu, didn't know about these flagrant violations because it was hidden. You fucking moron! Professional and personal boundaries. Go ahead.
After all, can't they use the Force?
And it was shown that the Jedi Council has become really ineffective, and their vision was clouded by the Sith. So it was kind of a major point that they couldn't tell that the Sith Master was right there beside them, and they just manipulating them out of the shadows, and they had no fucking clue. That is a more pressing issue than they're like one of the Padawans flirting with the person he's supposed to protect.
The article writer basically says plot hole, and then nope, it's not a plot hole. It's explained actually very well in the movies.
Yeah,
so and you're wrong.
Do they really think the Force cares about personal and professional boundaries? Do they not know how it works?
Let's just finish the last one. The Jedi Council's inability to remove a toxic misogynistic predator from its ranks ultimately brings about its downfall. When Anakin Skywalker joins the dark side and becomes Darth Vader, maybe if the Jedi were more concerned with gender equality and less concerned with balancing the Force, then they would still be around today. So much stupidity. Oh my god.
Yeah, because gender equality was going to stop Order 66.
Yeah.
Execute Order 69. Wait, what? What does that entail? It implies women.
Did this
ruining
motherfucker? Did this motherfucker not watch 4, 5, and 6? He was already set to become Darth Vader. You fucking moron!
Not
Like
Okay,
he's
can't have made this article without seeing the part where Order 66 was executed. They couldn't have made this article without seeing that part.
Also, let's not forget that, first of all, the biggest contribution Anakin did was murdering Mace Windu, and it looks like it was all set up because Palpatine wasn't as weak as he pretended to be. He needed Anakin to make this decision and burn the bridge. Because after Anakin chops off Windu's hand, Palpatine shows that he had plenty of power, like unlimited power, and he zaps the shit out of Mace Windu pretty much immediately. And but he needed Anakin to, he just needed Anakin to make this final step and go to the dark side. And also,
Anakin, you're tearing me apart. You're turning into someone I don't know.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
I did not hit you. I did not.
No. I did not choke you. It's bullshit. I did not.
Hi, Obi-Wan.
Hi, Obi-Wan.
Ohio,
Oh, come on! I didn't choke you. It was your imagination.
But
Look, my hand's not even around your neck.
you see,
See? No
this article just shows how delusional these Me Too campaigners are. Like, this is a set story that had a goal of Darth Vader turning into the dark side, and still this moron can't understand that this was bound to happen. But no, because he was a sexual predator, and even though they married and got children, this was they could have stopped this. Like, a writer had actually written a story. So you saying, if this would have happened, then the entire thing with Darth Vader wouldn't have happened. You're a fucking moron. There were already 3 movies made, and until the Clone Wars, there were 5 movies in the works. So
and who's to say that if he wasn't expelled from the Jedi Order, then that the Sith wouldn't have just picked him up like right away?
Yeah.
And he would have used his anger at being rejected by Amidala to turn into Darth Vader. Like, who's to say that?
And so it would basically be the same thing.
Yeah, maybe even worse, because at that point he might have murdered. If he was anything like David Shitrat, I mean, he would probably hate Amidala for the rest of his life after that. I mean, like David's obsession.
Oh my god, what a headline! Oh my god!
And he Amidala wouldn't have had his kids, so Luke and Leia would never have been born, and therefore the Empire ends up ruling the entire goddamn fucking galaxy unopposed.
Yeah.
Great work, article writer. You truly solved Star Wars.
See, article writer, do you want space Nazis? Because this is how you get space Nazis.
Let's go into the last one, which is Rogue One is actually about internet freedom. Now that Star Wars is upon us, which as we all know, is the real reason for the season. Nice rhyme. It's time what is now my yearly overthinking of the entire franchise. Yeah, this is overthinking way too fucking hard, you retard.
By the way, you know what's amazing about this article is that the author debunks herself right in this article. Trust me. And in the end, she says that pretty much nothing. Well, you'll see.
Yeah. Last year, I came to the real. Yeah, retard. Last year, I came to. It's called autism. Yeah. Last year, I came to the realization that if the galaxy had adequate women's health care, oh my god.
Yeah, that article is even worse. Trust me.
Anakin would never have turned into. This is the exact same fucking argument as the last one. You goddamn retard. This year,
even worse than this one. Trust me.
I want to point out that Rogue One, a tremendously underrated installment of the series, is really about internet freedom. Really, think about it. Spoilers ahead for Rogue One. So if you haven't watched Rogue One,
I only watched it because Felicity Jones is fucking hot.
Star Wars is life, but Star Wars is also not very good, which is why what?
Life is not very good either. So
Which is why Rogue One, a Frankenstein's monster assembled from a butchered first cut, an excessively large space antenna that only exists to add another 30 minutes to the film, is one of the better Star Wars movies. The climax of Rogue One is truly relatable struggle. Uploading a very large file under time constraints, we've all been there, albeit probably with less bloodshed.
Probably.
Okay, probably, yeah. In Rogue One, the hero Generso climbs up to the top of a tower so that she can use the giant space antenna to transmit the Death Star plans to a rebel ship in orbit. Once received, the files are copied into a disk. Yes, one single disk without backup copies. Yeah, because they didn't have time, you retard. Again, did you watch the movie? Oh my god, I have to stop. The ship comes under attack. The disc makes a narrow escape into Princess Leia's ship, and from there, the events of A New Hope begin. This raises some question. Would it have killed Generoso to email the plans? Oh my god. Would have killed Generoso.
The only way this article could be remotely appealing to me right now is if Felicity Jones was reading it in her gorgeous British accent. Like, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Oh my god!
And puts on screen,
or put it on into a Dropbox. If she,
first world problems.
it's not like they were hunted by the Empire, and the Empire would probably not sit idly by and see that. Well, I mean,
so you're saying Dropbox is the most safe place to put the Death Star plans? You fucking moron. If she could upload the plans to the ship, why not ship farther away and less likely to get shut down, or even to the... Because they couldn't do it to the rebel base.
The vacuum of space, you moron.
Fucking
well, I can tell you're all about to die of fucking anarchy here, so let me speed read this for you. One obvious explanation would be to attribute the setup as an artifact to the recutting process. Early trailers for the movie suggest that the previous cut of Rogue One culminated in the theft of physical data tapes containing the Death Star plans, and rebel ships were posted nearby to receive the stolen tape. But that explanation is boring, and anyway, this is not the first questionable file management decision in the Star Wars universe. The fate of the whole galaxy depends on these Death Star plans making it back to the rebel base, and for the entirety of A New Hope, our heroes are running around with a sole copy on one little disc. No one thought to make backups, upload the file somewhere else, or even better, post them publicly somewhere? After all, only the Empire wants to keep the plan secret. It's no skin off the Rebel Alliance's nose if the entire galaxy can see the schematics of the Death Star. Why go cloak and lightsaber if you could just make an anonymous Tumblr? It's fun to make fun of Star Wars for its various plot holes, but in this case, this is consistent with the rest of the series. Throughout the movie canon, there appears to be very limited access to interstellar long-distance communications. Luke, Leia, and Han spend much of the original trilogy floating around in space, not communicating with the Rebel Alliance or each other, for that matter, when they do get separated. But it's not that faster than light. Data transmissions are impossible. The Vader teleconferences with the Emperor from across the galaxy and Empire Strikes Back. In Phantom Menace, Senator Palpatine communicates in real time with the Naboo government via hologram, and does the same with the Trade Federation in his capacity at Darth Sidious. In Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan ventures out to the remote planet Kamino on the edge of the galaxy and keeps zoom forward. I'm sure the listeners can read or whatever.
I put it in the description. But the problem here is, again, the file is massive, so they actually had to study it. So if you publicly release this fucking file, they would fix the fucking error, you moron.
They wouldn't, because their Empire already has all the plans, so it's not that. The thing is that the point she's trying to make here in the article is that this communication is communication between between planets is available, but only available to select few government officials, which is retarded. I mean, nowadays, pretty much anyone who wants to have a satellite phone can have a satellite phone, but most people don't need it. So why spend a couple $100 on a device that you don't need? It's like, yeah, anyone can buy it. It's not limited to government officials, but most people don't have it because most people don't need it. And if you live in normal communications, you don't need a satellite phone. Same
in the Star Wars universe, that type of communication also isn't very common for the average person.
Yeah, but it's usually if you live in a metropolitan area, you don't even need something like that. Also, just because we don't see something in the movie doesn't mean that in the universe of that movie it doesn't exist. It's like my favorite comparison is Aragorn's pants. Like nowhere in the book Aragorn's pants are described. So does it mean that he didn't wear any pants? No. So the same thing. The article says that one stupid fan theory is that most people in the Star Wars universe are illiterate. And this retarded theory is debunked by even more retarded argument. Just scroll back to that. This is the first rule of internet arguments: never be more retarded than the argument you're debunking.
Well, that's an impossibility for me since I am in fact retarded.
Higher up a bit. Scroll up a bit. A little higher. What it says about the. Oh, here it is. Most people in the Star Wars galaxy are totally illiterate, and the debunking is even more retarded. Because the debunking is basically, well, this one dude can read, so the claim that most people are illiterate is false. How the fuck?
And here,
the article.
And I'm gonna read just the end, because otherwise it's just we don't see how the voter polls and things like that are, and how the communication is. Like, this is so fucking stupid. Because why would you go into the politics even deeper when all Lucas did was give you a kind of a concept of how the galaxy was run. That was it.
Yeah.
The politicians.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
That's the difference between Star Wars and something like Ghost in the Shell. Star Wars isn't getting into all of the nitty gritty and the pragmatism of what's going on. It's there to tell a story. If you want.
Yeah, it was world building. It was world building.
Yeah, if you want every single detail, you need to find another series for that, because this isn't that series.
Or read the books. They're probably more or the comics. Like, Jesus Christ. Let's continue. Just finish this article. The politicians of the Republic never expressed much concern about voters or polls. Public outrage never factors, even though it does in the series, which you didn't watch, you fucking moron, into decision-making for better or for worse. When the Jedi Order begins to suspect that the Chancellor is a Sith, they decide that their only recourse is to march into his room and chop his head off. Yeah? Because that's the best fucking option. No one thinks for a second that maybe the voters would want to know. Perhaps they don't.
They are about to arrest a politician for something before arresting. Because if they do, then this politician would probably run away if the charges were.
Hey, we need to catch this guy before he gets out of town. What do you want us to do? Tell everybody. That's a great idea.
Voters in Star Wars are thoroughly disengaged indeed. When Luke meets Leia, he seems to have no idea who the senator for the planet only. Yeah, because he's a fucking farm boy on some desert, on some planet. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God. Here,
Yeah.
every person in the Star Wars movie who is portrayed and engaged in long-time distance communications is a member of the government in some capacity. Senator Palpatine, Darth Sidious, Darth Vader, Big-Bon Kenobi, and the Jedi Council. The Republic created a system in which only politicians and high-ranking members of a military religious order could use long-distance signals, and that the setup conditions in which the whole galaxy succumbed to thinly veiled references to Nazis.
Again,
And that's why Rogue One.
English is
Go ahead.
really bad. The galaxy didn't succumb to a reference to Nazism; it succumbed to the Empire, which was a reference to Nazism. But that's not how the sentences are supposed to be structured.
And it wasn't thinly veiled by any stretch.
Yeah, it was pretty on the nose.
And that's why Rogue One, property of the Walt Disney Company, is actually a movie about internet freedom. It is a movie about transmission as a political act, and one in which unequal access to bands of a transmission puts people's lives at risk. Star Wars knows what everyone in this country except the 3 FCC commissions knows: discrimination across data speeds is a form of censorship. And while the end of the net neutrality probably won't lead to a giant space station blowing up the planet with a death laser, I'm not stoked to have lived in a world where I get to find out for sure.
And again, this
Can I take this person out there?
net neutrality is really, really fucking retarded. They think that in Europe, where we never had anything even remotely similar to the net neutrality thing, well, everyone is discriminated, and some sites don't load because, well, you know, some stupid shit. The whole premise of this pro-net neutrality fear-mongering is based in fallacies and ignorance.
Well, net neutrality, as far as the U.S. goes, is a little bit of a different subject because of how companies operate in the U.S. and the fact that they have so much power. But I think the fact that this person is trying to connect something that is in no way referencing or has anything to do with net neutrality to net neutrality is a little bit of nothing short of fanaticism.
There's a comment in the chat. So, from the last article, which I didn't see. CC. So he murders an entire tribe of indigenous people, kills kids, and decapitated a prisoner of war. But hitting on a girl is a no-no. Like,
Yeah.
both of these articles are so fucking retarded. But it's like,
It's like I'm looking
This is
in a
some
mirror.
onion quality shit.
No, it's Beaverton quality shit. Beaverton, get it right.
like this person claims to love Star Wars and says this stuff doesn't exist, and like the politics stuff. Watch the goddamn Clone Wars series, and this stuff is actually delved into in 5 fucking seasons. But you're too retarded to even do that, but claim to be a big fan of this. Oh my god! It's
I don't
just,
care how much you love something. When you make statements as dumb as this person has made, you should probably rethink your hobbies.
No, Star Wars Rogue One was really about Felicity Jones being Felicity Jones in the hottest way possible, and that's all I care about.
Yeah, I can make better hot takes than that. Well, you know that Phantom Menace was actually about the dangers of raising taxes, because if the Republic didn't raise taxes, nothing would happen. So yeah.
The Phantom Menace was a what was it? The anarcho-capitalists.
yeah.
Roger.
Well,
Taxation is.
but it's also a religious salad plot of indoctrinating a boy into and kidnapping him into a religion, never to see his mother again at 9 years old. Like,
No, it's really a movie about tits, because you remember that Jar Jar battle scene where the shields morph over the armies and they're all just giant tits? It's really about tits.
Luke Skywalker didn't milk any green substance from those tits.
Well, let's
end it here.
Yeah. So, anything you want to share? Privilege Shitlord. You have a YouTube channel, so just want to have a quick plug about what it's about.
Well, it's kind of like random topics I find interesting, pretty much from politics to like technology. Well, technology, because I made a video debunking some retard who didn't know how microphones work, and I had to explain how they actually work.
Okay, yeah. And Kyle, anything you want to share?
I have my YouTube channel, Uncut Salt, do gaming let's plays and reviews. And I've even uploaded some of my old 2-stash.com content that I made, which you should check out, because it's kind of awesome.
Yeah, give me your link so I can put them in the description afterwards. Frost Draco?
I have my YouTube channel at Frost Draco, where I post gameplay videos and shit posting. And then there's also my stream where I sometimes stream games like Guild Wars 2 and other MMOs.
Okay, well, just give me your links and I can put them in the description if people want to check it out. That's pretty much it for the stream. Some cool stuff, some negative stuff, and some really retarded stuff.
Hey!
So yeah. Well, the articles we're reading, not new. So, and thanks everyone for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.